Hey, Chandler here, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about how to turn strokes of genius into long-term success. When I was first getting started in business, I relied on Herculean effort to get things done. And maybe you felt the same way where you think, hey, I can't be bottled up. I'm so talented. This can't be systematized. This can't be productized. This is just me. I'm creative. I'm talented. You can't bottle this up. And I'm a hard worker. It's when I've got a video on hard work and continuous improvement. And this is one of our core values at Self-Publishing School. So all through life, I've won because I've worked harder than everyone else. And I just knew I could always outwork people. Now the flip side of that is you lean on that work ethic to get things done. So I remember in the early days, it was just like muscling things into existence. And so there would be these strokes of genius, but it always relied on me, and it always relied on me working really hard. You can only work so many hours until you realize I need to bottle this stuff up. And if I'm going to achieve any long-term success, I need to create systems, I need to create a playbook, but I need to turn these one-time strokes of genius into long-term success. Now, one of my favorite quotes is from Schramko. He talks about how he said, I never do anything once. So if it's a podcast interview or if it's anything, I'm going to do it and then it's going to be multi-purpose into a bunch of different things. So this really shifted my thinking around what are all the one-time things that I'm doing, the one-time strokes of genius, or the one-time Herculean effort that I'm doing that I need to bottle up and systematize to turn into long-term success. Now I'll give you a couple examples. Early on, this was our promotions and our affiliates. So it was like we were going on this hamster wheel of one promotion to the next promotion to the next promotion. Recently, we brought someone to do sales training with the team. And the big thing there was, hey, we're going to do all this sales training, but what about a year from now when we hire 5 more sales reps? How do we make sure that we turn this one-time stroke of genius? So like, oh man, I've got this great question that I can ask on sales calls. Or, oh man, we just totally nailed this and this training is really good. I'm asking the question, how do we turn this stroke of genius into long-term success? So how do we make sure we're bottling this up? And we've also had a ton of improvement recently on accounts receivable or AR. So that's been really working and we've been making an improvement. And so again, I'm asking the question, hey, Michael, what did you do that worked so well? How do we bottle that up for long-term success? Now, really, this is kind of a culmination of all these different principles. So maybe you've heard me talk about the light bulb versus the whack-a-mole, fixing bridges instead of slinging life rafts. I've got a video on that. That talks about kind of this whole fixing bridges philosophy, but it's how do you take any problem or any success and then bottle it up. So if it's a problem, you ask the question, what was the root issue and how can I solve that once and for all? If it was a success, you say, hey, what really worked here? How do I systematize this? And how do I bottle it up? Now, long-term, why this matters, this is a principle I learned from Keith Cunningham. He talks about this principle of a hand crank in your business. He said, most of you have hand crank businesses, which means you're cranking the thing, and as long as you keep cranking it, it keeps working. But what happens if you get sick? What happens if you pass away, you get hit by a bus? What happens if you want to sell this and move on? Where you're going to stop cranking it, and when you stop cranking it, the business stops. So really this concept of turning strokes of genius into long-term success is taking the hand cranks in your business and turning them to an electrically powered crank. So how do you bottle this up and how do you stop running on that treadmill so that this thing isn't reliant on you? Now, whether you're an employee in the business, you can't take time off. You can't take a sick day because you're hand cranking. Or an owner or operator in the business. Again, you can't take time off. You can't sell this business because there's so much hand cranking going on in your business. Now, there's a couple questions that I want you to ask yourself. And that's anytime you run into a problem, ask the question, how can I fix this root issue once and for all? And really, are there other areas in the business where this might be showing up that I can take this fix and I can fix this elsewhere? Now, on the flip side, when you have these strokes of genius and you have these wins, you have these things that are really working, ask yourself, how can I bottle that up and stop hand cranking, but turn that into an electric motor? Now, they say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So when it comes to hand cranking in your business, when it comes to relying on Herculean effort, when it comes to running on the treadmill, you got to stop the madness, look around and say, how can I systematize this thing? Or how can I bottle up this stroke of genius? Because I know you're probably a genius, or at least you probably think you are. So take that genius, bottle it up, for long-term success. So what I'd like you to do right now, scroll below this video, comment, what's one thing in your business that's kind of a stroke of genius that you can bottle up and that you need to bottle up so that you can pass it off to someone else? Comment below. As always, click the subscribe button and I'll see you in the next video.